Good evening, everyone. I'm going to introduce Dr. Ifeanyi. Dr. Ifeanyi is a psychiatrist, and today he's going to be talking about the body, the mind, and your community, and how it could be a trigger for you to achieve greatness. I know that this is going to be amazing, and I know that he has a lot to impact us with. Welcome, Dr. Ifeanyi.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to let you take the floor at this point. Okay.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you guys and allowing me to be here to talk with you today about the mind and the body. So during this conversation, any questions you have, we'll be able to answer it, especially about in context of the mind and the body. So one of the biggest questions for everybody is, why is the mind and the body so important for everybody? And here's the reason why your mind and body is very vital to your life. Because your mind and your body, for you, it's important to regulate your self-care, then ability for your wellness, and most importantly, your quality of life. So in that regards, it's important for us to take care of our mind and body because they function with each other. Because with your mind, with your mental health, if you're depressed or anxious, it could affect your body. Or if you have any physical conditions, like any disorders, that could also affect your mind and your mental state. So that's why, as a psychiatrist, even though I primarily treat the mind, but I also make sure I check physical symptoms for my patients, because people with diabetes, high blood pressure, they're also affected by mental illness as well.
Yes.
So it's very vital because in regards to, if we're looking at mental health, for example, if somebody's struggling with mental illness per se, then this could also affect their physical wellness, such as issues with their appetite. They may have appetite changes. They may have sleep disturbances. They may have weight loss or weight gain. So that's what, in general, is very vital for us as an important factor in our mental health. And and Isioma, like one of the things that we were talking about.
I wanted to just to piggyback on what you said. Things like diabetes and high blood pressure, and those things are huge factors. Like, can you talk a little bit more about, psychosomatic diseases and, how they affect people? Because a lot of people don't realize how important these things are. Like, for example, if you're not taking care of your mind and you're not taking care of your body, one of the things that tends to happen is that, those chronic diseases are definitely worse. Inflammation, things like that are definitely worse. And if you have those kind of things going on in your body, what tends to happen is that it slows you down. It slows down your pace, uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled high blood pressure are triggers that affects people's daily lives and daily activities. So, can you speak a little bit more, about how that aspect is so important, especially, with your practice as a clinician, how you see it affect people, and things like that?
So it's great about the word psychosomatic, because psycho is with the mind and somatic is soma, the body. So those two go hand in hand. And for example, let's say somebody is struggling with a mental illness, such as depression. I'm going to use depression and anxiety because those are most common disorders I treat and people are more aware of. So somebody struggling with anxiety, they may struggle with having headaches, blurry vision. Some people may complain of having their throat is sore or their throat is stuck. They can't swallow. I've had patients who are struggling with anxiety say, "Doc, I have chest tightness, chest pain." Then stomach-wise, they may complain about having nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. Some people have tremors or tingliness. They're sweaty. So that's just anxiety alone. And then if you look at someone struggling with depression, they may experience having a sleep disturbance. So problematic. Then like I mentioned earlier, appetite changes. So they may be eating too much where they're starting packing the pounds, or they're eating too less and they're starting to see unhealthy weight drop. So that is what we could look for. Then also a person may struggle with fatigue, complaining of low energy, and this could occur in depression and anxiety, where they're going to struggle with these energy states. And a lot of times some people complain of having pain, and that's one of the big things that we have to focus on with psychosomatic disorders, or even with our mind and body. Like, we're living in a stressful time right now, especially during COVID. People are stressed out. Some people have lost their jobs. People are not able to interact with loved ones, you know, so these barriers of causing stress can impact your body tremendously. And if you already have a pre-existing disorder, this might make it worse. So that's why we can't take it lightly, where somebody says, oh, it's a mental health disorder, so, you know, you'll get better. But a mental health disorder can affect physical symptoms, and physical symptoms can affect mental health, like such as, let's say somebody's dealing with cancer, or they had a limitation, whatnot. That could cause somebody to have depression. So
absolutely. And even inflammation, you know, sometimes I tend to see that even with my patients that have things like gout, sometimes it could be like a very stressful time of their lives that tend to affect or just cause exacerbation of inflammation in different parts of the body. So, and you know, once you have those diseases and those things are affecting you, then it really affects your quality of life. It really affects, you know, what you're able to take on and being able to take on new tasks and new roles. You know, the theme of this, series is arising to greatness. And when your quality of life and your health and things like that are not good, you know, it really affects just on a total basis how fast, you know, you're able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. So it's very important that as we take on different roles, you know, a lot of us here are parents, and, you know, and we have jobs, careers, and things like that, that we're really taking care of the mind and the body. You know, one of the things that I really admire about you is you and your wife, you know, you guys take the time in the morning, because I do see you guys, you know, exercising, and that's a big thing, because, you know, with that release of endorphins in the morning, you have more energy, you're more alert, you're more able to do more. It's busy. Everybody's busy, especially when you have little kids, you know, but still being able to be intentional about taking care of your body, taking care of your health as you take on bigger roles, because they will come. But I feel like you're able to take on better roles and bigger roles when you're able to have mastered your body and your mind. But if you haven't done that, then it becomes an issue, and it can actually slow you down when the time of achieving great things actually comes, because you haven't paid enough attention to that.
Selma, like you were saying, like with my wife and I, you know, I'm very thankful for my wife as my accountability partner.
That's
because
wonderful.
Like we are stressed. We both are busy professionals, and we're trying to, you know, balance things out. And a lot of times when you're stressed out, your way you take care of yourself could go to the wayside because you don't have enough time. So my wife and I had to carve out time, and we took like around 5 a.m. in the morning just to be able to spend, our quality time to spend time with each other. So that's one for our minds as well, that I'm getting this quality time with my wife. And then we're going into every morning working out, having intense workouts, which is good for our body. So that will help us combat any stressors during the day. And to be honest with you, it helps me deal with stress that comes my way, because I know we're both in the healthcare profession. We see a lot. And so anything that help you be ready and stable for your patients, that's an added advantage. And it's been very helpful for myself and also my wife as well.
Yes. And, you know, it also strengthens your relationship with your wife. You know, that's the next part, your community. You know, your community is the people that are around you. Your spouse is a big part of your community. You know, your friends, the people that you interact with on a daily basis. Can you speak to that effect, and, you know, how important having the right community is in achieving anything that, you know, you want to achieve?
Yeah, Isioma, like with my life, I've been a product of, I've been very blessed to be in different communities that have supported, either it's the Nigerian community in Southern California, or when I was in my elementary school, my high school, and attending UCLA, I was being a part of the communities where the teachers, my classmates, they poured into me, I poured into them. We all supported each other. And especially at UCLA, being where the Black community, we all supported each other, and we try to push each other. And I was also involved. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, and so that alone, my brothers were supporting me. They pushed me to be my best. Even growing up in the Nigerian community, whenever a Nigerian saw you, the first thing they would ask you is, how's school? So that's like one of the most things where they try to keep you accountable. So I had that place where, wherever you see uncles, aunties, or even cousins, extended family, what we call them, in the Nigerian community, everybody challenged you. They wanted to see you do well. And if you were out and they saw you, they would report you to your family. So that's what it is. Accountability. And then also, for me, when I had the opportunity to leave California and go to venture to schools in Hampton University and Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, I always had a good support system of peers that had my back and pushed me to be my best. And even in residency, that community I forged, it's about being around people who want to see your potential and want to see you do well. And I know people saying, what about the haters? Let the haters hate, let them do what they want to do. They can't block you. We shouldn't let them to block you, because they see something in you as well. Your haters see your greatness too. So
and it's interesting, because the people who really quote unquote hating, sometimes they see things in you that they wish they had themselves. So it could be a trigger for you to even do better, and just kind of place yourself around people who want to do well, who are doing well. It's always good to have that positive energy around you, and have the fortitude and the mind to just overcome and not focus on the distractions, because they will come. And that's the one thing that your community, a healthy community, is very important, even in achieving the things that you want to achieve. And it also comes back to the family, going back to the family, making sure that your family is a good place, you guys are all growing together, because you spend a lot of time with your family. That's with your children and your spouse. That's also a very big part of your community that could be a real driving force in you achieving the things that you want to do. So I think, one of the things that we need to really be cautious and mindful of is being intentional about building good communities around us, good friends, being around people that, are also doing great things, that want to do great things, and just being around people that are healthy in their thinking.
And I like that comment, what you said, and it reminds me of a comment that I went to a seminar by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and one of the things he said was the concept of being a good seed and good soil, and about your environment being an important factor. He says a lot of us are good seeds in bad soils, and you won't have the ability to grow. But when you're a good seed in good soil, you have able to take root, you're able to grow and flourish. And that's one of the big things that I feel that anybody in some part of the community, regardless of your community's affluent or low income, they're still your environment could be the people your community, the people you surround you, and you could achieve. There are people in this world, in this country, that came from low poverty, and that didn't block their destiny. They were able to make it to the top because they were surrounded people that were protecting them and wanted them to excel. And even if you are a good seed in a bad soil, there's can be opportunities to get out of your toxic environment, but recognizing you are in a toxic environment and leave. And so you could be able to flourish, because there's some people that want to hold you back. Even if it's your loved ones too, they might hold you back as well, because they themselves don't see the next level. Because of generations, they're like, oh yeah, this is our level. Like, you're doing too much trying to go there. But when you expand yourself, your mind, especially to intellectual opportunities to learn and grow, or meet other people. This alone can help you, and you could grow. And that's why it's important to sometimes search for the communities that you want to be a part of.
Yes. And, you just said something, search for the communities that you want to be a part of. I think different levels of our lives brings to us different challenges. It brings to us different things that we want to accomplish. I think being in a community, that sometimes searching for that community of people who want to do what you're doing, who are your next level, is key, even to being able to accomplish what you need. Because, for example, you're able to, when you join a community of people who are doing what you want to do, you're able to reach out resources, information, knowledge that you need for the next level. And, being able to seek that out in a community that's already where you want to be, which is your next level, is pretty key. And that's one thing I think, especially for like our culture. One of the things I noticed, and even being a Nigerian, is that, we tend to stay very confined to our space. We tend to stay within what we know, but as I get older and I, look ahead and see what I want to accomplish, I'm intentionally planting myself in people who are very different from me, intentionally, because the default really is when you come into a place and you look for someone who relates with you on your level. But really what you need is, yes, relating with you on that level, but you really want to go to the next level and seeking out people who are, where you want to be and who have the information that you're seeking. And it's key. I think being able for us to stretch ourselves and to see, be open-minded, in seeking out communities that are very different from us is so important, And as I get older, I'm intentionally making sure that I come to a place, especially, I don't go with the comfortable. I try to stretch myself to go with what's uncomfortable for me, especially if I want to go, in a direction. So I think that's very important, that what you said about being planted in the right soil is key. So go ahead, sorry. Did you want to say something? Okay. So there are people that are going to watch this live stream after, what are some things you want to say to them, that you think they could take as a take-home message for this series on your mind, your body, and your community?
So one of the things is self-care and wellness preservation is very vital and important, because I want to introduce a concept called the 8 dimensions of wellness. Okay. And it encompasses with the model of self-care, like physical wellness, concerns with your ability to maintain your physical activity, your sleep, your nutrition. So that's vital for us to make sure that we're healthy physically, because everything has an impact on each other. Then there's emotional wellness, which talks about how we are able to handle our emotions, maintain our relationships, because if you are not mentally or emotionally well, you could be a toxic person to others. You could be blocking others. And so until you're able to cope with your stressors, you got to make sure you manage your emotional wellness. Then spiritual wellness. You may say, what does spirituality have to do with it? Spirituality has a lot to do with the mind, because it deals with your faith, your ability to volunteer and serve others, having purpose. I think purpose is what allows somebody to get up in the morning and do their normal activities. So spiritual wellness, praying, meditating are good factors for self-care. Then your intellectual wellness, your ability to maintain, stimulate your interest, your ability to heighten your knowledge about things, traveling experiences, learning new languages. This is stimulating your mind and keeps your body going. Social wellness, this has been under attack during the COVID-19. And so a lot of people are stressed. So this can affect your mental health, which can affect your physical health and cause some people to have depression and anxiety. So I think engaging with others and maintaining your social wellness is important to your mind and body and community. Then your environmental wellness, which we just talked about, but it doesn't necessarily have to be outdoors in the sky. It could be your environment, where your neighborhood where you're growing up, or even your home. Is your home like Like, do you feel welcome coming to your home? Do you feel at peace and comfortable when you're coming home? There's no wahala when you come in home. That's one of the things you want to make sure that there's no trouble there. Or even at work, is your work environment conducive for your peace and sanity, for your self-care and your mind? So that's definitely important. Then financial wellness. We've seen in this COVID-19 how COVID-19 has opened the doors for people to recognize you may need multiple streams of income, or you may need to reevaluate like your sources of money, your budgeting and saving. So that's important for our self-care and our mind, because when you have financial stressors, that becomes mental health stressors, which can become physical stressors.
Yes.
The last big thing, occupational wellness. We spend most of our time at work. So I think self-preservation and self-care with your mind and body is important, because if your mind starts to decline, your mental status, or your mental health more so becomes to decline, and your physical health becomes decline, it may affect your ability to perform at work. It may then people will start noticing that you may be taking more sick days, or when you're at work, you're not present. Your mind you're distracted, you're not there. So that's very vital, and be in a career that you enjoy and you're passionate about, because that's good for your mind and body. So with these 8 dimensions of wellness, I wanted to introduce that to the audience, because when a person has this in place and they're taking inventory and paying attention to these different factors of their wellness, they're going to be operating better for their self-care and their mind, their body, and their community, because they're able, once you take care of yourself, like they say on the plane, you give yourself the oxygen first, and then you can help the person. So I think that's very important. When you take care of yourself, you do that. And if we could do self-care, if we could take care of our homes, our cars, our phones, let's do it to ourselves, because sometimes we don't really want to treat ourselves.
Yes, I absolutely agree. I mean, you said it, you couldn't have said it any better. You know, those 8 dimensions, you know, really put together every part of our lives, you know, the finances, the wealth, the occupational, you know, and that's another thing. One of the things that I say all the time is, you spend a lot of time at work. You need to be in a workplace where you're happy. You need to be in a workplace where, you know, you're valued and you're appreciated. So that's also very key. Well, so we've come to the end of this series, and thank you very much, Dr. Ifeanyi, for speaking to us about the mind, you know, the body, and the community. We look forward to having more and more this type of sessions with you. And thank you guys for watching, and for the people who are going to join and watch later on. We just want to tell you thank you, and you know, give us feedback. You know, let us know. Sorry about the little glitches today we had, but it's getting better. And so go ahead.
I was going to say thank you. Oh, yes, thank you, I appreciate it. And
thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and look forward to hearing more and commenting. And we're going to have this video edited and put on YouTube at some point. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye-bye.